Welcome, everybody. Tricky Guys Podcast. Your host, Brent Bilski, with you. We got a former radio host, award-winning basketball player kind of guy here on the chair here. What you got, my man, Tony Blackburn.
I'm out here, man.
The one and only.
Yeah, one and only Tony.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's good with you, man? Had a good weekend?
Yeah, I had a good weekend.
Yeah, me too, man. My knees kind of hurt because somebody tried to take me out on the court and take me out, you know.
Did we meet up on the basketball court this weekend?
I wasn't there.
You weren't there, huh?
I was there, but I wasn't there, you know. Hey, I'm going to tell y'all, man, he can shoot. I get it to him. But,
as I introduced myself as former college player, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I thought it was all cap, you know. Yeah, he got a jumper on him, got a little torch on him. But, you know, we're going to see. I'm going to get back right.
I try to tell people.
Because I'm white. Because he's white. Because he is white. Look at
like,
him.
It happens all the time where like I'll tell people, I'm like, yeah, I play college ball, da-da-da, and they'll look at me and go, okay. You know what I mean? Like, and then, yeah. So I think I was already on the court. So basically, in our building, we have a basketball court. I go down there a lot to kind of get my therapy out and stuff. And you just happened to come in when I was down there.
Let me preface. Here's my disclaimer. You don't drink, you don't smoke.
18 months sober, baby.
You know what I'm saying? I was like 18 seconds sober in there. Straight out that Casamigos, but it was a good time, man.
Yeah, we had some fun.
I want to get back in there. It's a good time.
Yeah. Because we tried. You started with horse, and I knew that was a bad idea.
I don't remember. I just remember. Did I hit some shots at horse?
You got Tony. Now Tony can play. Tony's got. You got more like the Sean Marion. Like it's quick, but you got. I can see.
It ain't Sean Marion. It's way better than him. His jumper ugly.
I'm saying though, I can see the wrist snap. I can see. Yeah. So you started there, and then you're like, let's do 21. I was like, all right, yeah, that's a little more, getting me to move around, stuff like that. And then we went to one-on-one, and I will appreciate your determination.
Yeah, I'm not going to quit. I'm not a quitter.
Bruh.
But let's say he goes to the gym every day. That's my first time there, at least since summer. Mm-hmm. So, I be having other Tony things to do.
Right, you do gym. More so Tony things.
I don't, gym is fun. I get my workout elsewhere.
Just for clarification, though, out of horse, 21, and one-on-one,
I don't think I won. But let's do one thing.
You don't think so?
Let's do one thing. Who was sober and who wasn't?
Okay.
We're going to see on Thursday how this conversation goes.
All right.
Back on Thursday.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it, man. Lots of things to get into. I'm going to make this a sports theme as far as, like, the future is insane. It is crazy. We are in the new level, the new future of technology.
Oh, no.
There are some things that even our jobs aren't safe. Maybe. Even sports broadcasting jobs might not be safe.
So you would rather have a robot, because they don't have feelings, they don't have any, it's going to be just facts.
It's getting closer. We'll talk about it, because you have a lot of experience.
So, ChatGPT is pretty cool. I've used it for a lot of things. Helped my daughter with her homework. I ain't do it, but, I helped her with the homework. Mm-hmm. Written a couple books and business plans. I mean, you can do anything with it. It's pretty cool.
You can do almost anything with it.
As long as you know what to ask it.
Right.
And you have to have some knowledge about the topic that you're actually trying to, whatever you're trying to write about, whatever you're trying to do. Like, if you're trying to write a book, you should know about the format of the book, the outline, have some smarts. You can't just be an idiot and go on there and like, hey, write me a book about waving a gun in a strip club.
Well, yeah.
Is that too soon?
Well, it's interesting because first thing we want to talk about, it's tournament time, baby.
Let's go.
It's time for the NCAA tournament.
UH.
And U of H is one of the top 4 seeds. They the 4 number 1 seeds in the bracket. The Houston, although they did have a little slip.
They did. They'd be all right though.
No, Sasser, their leading scorer, has a groin injury. Cannot come at a worse time for the Houston Cougars.
And March Madness Final Four, all that is here in Houston, so
I know
it would have been dope for them to win. The Astros just won. The women's basketball, actually, I think they went to the championship game.
Yeah. And so there's a lot going on, and it would be nice to have not your leading scorer right before the tournament starts, as Houston last year lost all top 3 scores before and still made a decent tournament run. So there's still an opportunity there, but it's so interesting. You bring up the Ja thing as a joke, but when all the smoke cleared, after all the stuff we've talked about, the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA men's tournament this year just happened to be
Alabama.
Ala-frickin-Bama. Brandon Miller led, Coach Oates led, maybe was part of a homicide, maybe not.
I don't know anything about that, Bring my joint.
Yeah, bring me my joint, the pat down, all the things we discussed after everything, after all the, Kentuckys and Dukes. North Carolina didn't even make the tournament this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Didn't even make it. Turned down the NIT because they're like, bro, we're just embarrassed. We're gonna take our balls and go home. And after all was said and done, the number 1 overall seed, arguably according to Joe Lunardi, with the easiest path to the NCAA championship and the favorites to win,
Roll Tide.
Alabama.
Alabama.
That's wild. That's interesting how much that tied in, because we both are not a huge fan of college versus pro.
I mean, it's not that I'm not a fan.
I'm not. I'll tell you right now, I'm not.
I like it because they play harder, but it's hard to keep up with all them teams, man.
That's hard too.
And I'm like, I don't want to just sit there and watch all the games every day. Some teams I do, but like with college, it's just so many different teams. So who you got in the bracket? Who you got? I'm gonna still go with UH. I want UH to win.
I will give you my reasons why. I'm just going to have my bracket. I'll give you some numbers and some little fun facts and stuff, but I'm telling you right now, I kind of hate college sports. Because, like you said, they do it for all the right reasons. But as someone who, especially in basketball, as we pointed out, I do know how to play this game a little bit. I played it to at least enough level to get to where I got to. I was not out there because I was the fastest. You know what I mean? I wasn't the highest jumper. I had to think the game out.
Right.
So there are just basic things that college, both in football and basketball, you should never be able to get away with a full court press, ever. If you play decent and you just, if I was to coach a basketball, like a youth basketball team, and I've coached before, and trying to explain how 5 men should not be able to guard you 94 feet by 45, whatever it is, full court without you just exploiting that. It's really as simple as, okay, you see how 5 people have to take all this circumference area?
Pause.
Go somewhere where they're not, or a defender is, throw that guy the ball, and when everyone tries to collapse and there's all these people, keep throwing to the wide open person until you get a layup. If you're ever watching
it sounds good, but like people do play defense
but it really shouldn't.
And then in the energy of the moment, you got to think about, like, decisions have to be made really quick. So it is a mental game.
But they have
to learn somewhere.
Right.
They have to learn before they go professional. Colleges is learning the full court press, which you don't really see that in the NBA.
No. And why don't you?
Because they fast. They athletes. They're going to get it done.
And they make the right decision.
Because they learned that in college.
They should have learned that earlier, in my opinion. If you're in North Carolina, if you're a big, like, number 1 seed, and I watch you F up against the simplest thing to break down, because you'll dribble into double teams, you'll get yourself locked in a corner. These are, like, to me, again,
fundamentals, right?
Where I had to learn those. By the time I was in 6th grade, I learned how to break a press. So watching a guy who's 1 year away from the pros not understand, bro, just don't dribble into the trap. Don't go and stop. Like one of my favorites you'll see college kids do. As soon as you cross half court, they'll pick the ball.
The dribble. Yeah.
Like, that is just, God, I don't understand.
It's also coaching as well.
I hate.
You are automatically, if you cross half court, for people that don't know this, if you play basketball, that's the last place, because now you've created a third defender. So you might have 2 trapping you. You technically have 3, because now you can't even pivot backwards. All you got to do is give one more dribble at least before you pick up the ball. And I will watch college kids. It'll be a 1 seed versus a 2 seed, make the dumbest mistakes ever, and it drives me bananas.
They got to learn. You got to start somewhere.
Learn earlier.
They haven't. They haven't. So, right. I mean, it's not that I don't like college basketball. Like I said, it's a lot of teams to keep up with. I don't start watching until March Madness, to be honest with you.
And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. March Madness is something that everyone can do, because as much as it's great to know things when you pick your bracket, it's also good to not.
Really?
It's a lot of times, like in your office pool, it'll be Becky from accounts receivable that'll win
the whole thing just because she liked the color of the team.
Right. And the reason is because there's going to be games that happen in this NCAA tournament, as there is every year, that are going to make no freaking sense.
Bracket busters.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
And you can, all your knowledge in the world, you can look on paper and you can say, look, this is a 15 that was a 6 seed in their small conference, and they just got in by winning the tournament at the end of the season, which I can go on another rant on. I don't think it's fair if like a 28-3 number 1 seed loses 1 game and suddenly that 11 and 17. But point being, like, they had no business being there in the first place. They're going against, like, a blue blood number 2. Yeah. Nothing on paper should say that team should beat that team.
Well, because likely the other team didn't anticipate playing that team, right? So they don't match up well. They didn't study them all season. They don't know what to expect.
Right.
And now this other team, hey, we shouldn't be here anyway. So
nothing to lose.
We're going to ball out, and then the pressure busts pipes.
Yes, it does. So. And you don't know who's going to live up to that pressure and who's not. Ben Simmons never even made the tournament, but you have some that in the March Madness were able to really have fun with it and like solidify their status, like a Steph Curry, or you know what I mean, that came in that were expected to do well and even exceeded that. And then you have others that you thought were, it's tournament time. You're going to see this dude ball out.
Nope.
Big lights get them.
Big bust. Yeah, that stage. I think it's going to be a good tournament. I want to say I still want Houston to win. That'd be dope. Because we
got a real shot.
Yeah, they got a real shot. That injury, it sucks, but, somebody else might step up. Now they get the time to shine.
Not only do they say that's going to make a great for bracket picking and watching March Madness this year, that this is one of the first times in a while there really is, even though Alabama, which is insane to me, is the number 1 overall team, that there's no real consensus. Like, there's not like one of those years where it's like the Kentucky with John Wall and them where it's like, bruh.
Yeah, you know what time it
like,
is.
This is cute, but we're going to, this is one of the most open tournaments as far as, like, there's a lot of people that can win. A lot of different
teams can win, yeah.
Get a load of this, too. The first time in 40 years, no Roy Williams, no Mike Krzyzewski on the sideline. This is the first time in 40 years that's happened. So even the Blue Bloods aren't. So this is a very open-ended, unpredictable tournament. But I want to give y'all a stat that lets you understand trying to pick the so-called perfect bracket or how hard it is to pick an actual bracket. I need to really emphasize this. If this doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what won't. Do you know the odds? Have you ever heard they do the stats? The odds of picking a perfect bracket, meaning like 1 through, the 16, getting every game right all the way to the championship. Do you know the odds of doing that? And even
under 1%.
Way less. It is 1 in 9 quintillion. 1 in 9 quintillion. Now, I'll tell you right now, I did not even know what that really meant. You have to be kind of a nerd.
You fucking nerd with your nerd hair.
To even understand what 9... let me just... 9 quintillion, by the way, is 9, 223, 372, 036, 854, 225, 808. That's how long that number is.
That's like the cousin of pi.
It's seriously.
And I'm the coolest nerd you ever meet, so you can't make fun of nerds.
You fucking nerd with your nerd hair.
I will tell you now, give you a real world perspective of what. So again, the perfect bracket. Now they do say if you know basketball, it goes down to like 1 in 120 billion to pick a perfect bracket. But if you were to just flip a coin and try to use that to the odds of that is the equivalent of if I told you you have to pick 1 grain of sand, only 1 grain of sand, like a little speck, and you have to use the entire planet Earth to pick the 1 grain of sand I want you to pick. Like, let's say I'll give you all the money in the world. If you pick the 1 grain, not a pile, not nothing, 1 speck of sand, you would still have a 20% better chance than picking a perfect bracket because there's only 7 quintillion grains of sand estimated in the entire planet Earth. There is a 1 in 9 quintillion chance of picking a perfect bracket. There's only a 1 in 7. If I gave you the entire freaking planet and said, I need the 1 speck, you have a better chance of doing that than picking a perfect bracket.
I'm going to tell you, bro, we got to get you another hobby. For you to look this up, we're going to have to get you a hobby. We got to get you something. We got to get you back in the gym. You weren't shooting me in the gym. Like, come on,
I got nowhere else to
go. Like, how long did it take you to find that?
It took a little bit. It took a little research.
How many grains of sand did it take you to find that? Hey, man, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm picking that grain of sand.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to do it. You're going to be the one, the first one ever in history to pick the perfect bracket.
I don't know. We're going to see, man.
Yeah.
We're going to see. We shall see.
So, anyways, I'll give you real quick because a lot of this stuff, again, picking your bracket is going to be. And one more point I do want to make on the tournament that's been harder than other years. I think in the last about 10 years, you've seen this. We finally saw like a Virginia, this was the first seed a few years ago, lose to a 16, which had never happened. There was a shift in college basketball that has happened for a while, but now you're seeing it play out that makes it even harder to pick the upsets. So many of the blue bloods now are one-and-doners versus seniors. A lot of the SWAC and the small conference teams that make it into the tournament are usually senior, junior led versus a lot of, this is why I think Kentucky, which continually has a history now of struggling, because like you're pointing out, the pressure, the all the situations.
Pressure, and then, home life, personal life, and, they bring those type of things on the court.
Yeah.
And, and the pressure of winning. Don't you want to win the tournament? So, I mean,
and these
are kids. You're expected to win the tournament. You put all this time in. You made it this far. And something like an injury, that can bring the whole team down. Like, oh, man, we were just planning to pass on the ball every time. And you don't have that option anymore. So now other guys have to show up. They may not know the game. They may not know the plays. They might not be a good defender. I mean, it's a lot of different variables. So
having to try, if I was to pick upsets, now again, we both are admitted of like, dude, we don't really watch college like that, but I would look for senior teams. If you're trying to pick them, look for that, because it's not that those one and done guys and those talents won't be better eventually, but in college, you're seeing this play out a lot. Like the perfect example I can think of that was early on, it wasn't one and done, but like Christian Laettner versus Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq clearly, as a sophomore, you knew was going to be better than Christian Laettner in the future. But when they played in college and Christian was in his prime, Shaq will even openly admit he was better than me, and when we were head-to-head, ate my lunch. Now, when they played each other in the pros, Shaq won 17-19 and was outscoring him like 28-12.
Yeah, that's Shaq. Big Diesel, you know what time it is.
But Christian caught him as a sophomore in college, and Duke was able to beat a team they had no business beating if they were both 24. But Christian was older, he was younger. There's still a little bit of that development. So you've seen that now with the Blue Blooders. They have to pick a lot of one-and-dones, and they're going against these VCUs and stuff that are almost all 4 or 5 year seniors and juniors. In the tournament, in this one-game scenario, that experience plays out. So that's why I think you've seen more upsets in the last few years, because you're continually getting that situation of, yeah, these guys will be better in 3 years, but it's not 3 years, it's today. You know what I'm saying?
True. And they'll be better in 3 years. And then the NBA is a whole different ball game. You get there, you're not going to get that tick because you're getting drafted, you're coming to a team that already has their starters. They already have, so you're coming in to learn, unless you're just that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Kobe came from high school. If you're just that guy.
Even Kobe struggled his first couple of years.
Yeah. And, because you still have to adjust to the speed of the game. The fans, that's a real big stage.
Yeah.
82 games. That it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment phase you go through. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch, interesting to see.
I'll give you some little, like, if you're trying to pick your bracket, that's what I want to help with. I'll give you at least some little factoids that if you're, like, stuck between two.
Yeah, like grain of sands. Give me a couple grain of sands.
Man, that one is my favorite. You have a better chance of picking a grain of sand than you do.
On Earth. And you said there's how many grains of sand?
7 quintillion.
7 quintillion.
And there's a 1 in 9 quintillion of picking a perfect bracket all the way through. That ish is bananas. BANA. You know what I mean? Like, that is bananas, how hard it is.
We're going to edit that part out, man. What you over here singing?
Oh, man. Yeah, I think I could at least do that. I think you have a few seconds to sing before they go like, oops, rights. But
nah, I'm just saying the song. That's the only song you had? Go ahead.
Well, that's the only banana song. Actually, you know what? I have this banana song now that you made me think about it.
I'm a banana. I'm a banana. I'm a banana.
Let me keep going.
Is that your dance right there?
This shuts down the club right here.
It definitely shuts down the club.
Me and Ja.
Like the club will.
Me and Ja at the strip club doing this.
Hey, you see all the money on the floor?
Bruh. All right, I got to stop doing that.
You see all that bread on the floor?
Man.
Hey, he was getting it, bro.
The pictures came out, by the way, of Ja Morant at the club.
I'd be mad. Hey, bro, don't be taking no pictures of me in the club, man. We having fun.
It's not his fault.
Look at me, son. It's not your fault.
Not his fault. They caught him. The entire floor of Shotgun
not
Willies.
even the floor. Like, even the couches, the table. I think it was money on the ceiling. John had it busting
they
there.
made it rain to where the entire the room was covered in the mud.
Yeah,
Covered in it.
he had it lit, man.
Yeah.
That was a good night. I wish I was there.
All right, let's talk about the newly highest paid people, college players. Well, legally, just joking, but you know what I mean, NIL, all that.
We ain't doing all that.
Yeah, get into
We're
all
going to talk about some NIL or something. Go ahead.
All right, so at least one top 4 seed has lost in the past 13 to 14. So that's, if you're looking for an upset, a lot of people look at the 13-4s and pick your favorite or whatever unbelievably stupid reason why the 13 seed should beat the 4. Out of the last 14 years, 13 times at least one 4 seed is lost. So, you know.
All right.
You know what I mean? That's what it is.
I don't have anything for that. I want to know, where are you finding these stats at, man? Today you got some numbers. You got some stats today, boy.
I try my best. Speaking of, in the past 4, 12 of the 16 number 4s and 13s were decided by single digits. So again, the 4-13, if you're looking for a matchup, they're always close. Even when the 4 prevails for whatever reason now, that again, I think that might be younger. I have to look more into it, but I'll bet you a lot of it's freshmen and sophomores that are more talented going against seniors and juniors from smaller conferences that have the experience that today are a fight. But if you gave it 3 years, that 4 seed would probably kick the snot out of that 13 seed if they had a reunion game 2 years from now.
Right.
So
makes sense.
By the way, the biggest one's always, though, the 12-5. If you're looking for like one that almost happens every year, a 12 seed will beat a 5 seed. A lot. I don't know why. I don't know what specifically is the 12 versus 5 that makes it so enticing, but there has been a 12 beat a 5 in 32 of 37 tournaments. Wow. So that's a big one. If these are, again, don't, quote me or say, oh, you guaranteed. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying 12s and 5s, 13 4s are usually where you want to go. Let me give you just one or two more of these. These are just kind of... Yeah, if you look in the brackets and you see...
It's super nerdy. Go ahead.
Yeah, at least one number 11 has reached a Sweet 16 in 10 of 12. So if you're looking for because now first-round upsets are fun, but trying to pick that random 10 seed, which happens, I have a stat for that somewhere in here, almost every year a 10 or lower seed does make it at least to Sweet 16s, Elite 8s. And again, why and who?
Hey, it just depends. It depends on the team. It depends what's going on. Who you're playing and... it's a bunch of factors into that. And you can't, those stats, I mean, they are there. They are, percentages are there, but you got to think about the different players that's played on these teams throughout the years. So, any given, like football, any given Sunday.
Yeah, this is very much that any given Sunday. It's one game. It's a one-game playoff.
Anybody can go off.
Anybody, and you can have one dude just go bananas that's not supposed to.
Yeah, and then that next game, that person is back to reality. Yeah. And they getting crossed over, dropped, all that. Like, it's anything can happen. Anybody can win. You make it to the bracket, you can win it.
One day he can just go bananas.
I'm a banana.
Oh my God.
I'm a banana. I'm a banana. Look at me, man.
Boo the DJ.
I'm a banana.
So you sit at home and listen to that and look up these stats.
Yeah, that's right.
The neighbor's like, hey man, can you turn the banana off, man?
Just full volume. The whole floor is just hearing this. I got pens out. I'm like, 12 and the 13 4 seed is definitely dogs barking and shit. Yeah.
My pocket protector.
No, I'm gonna tell Tony about the quintillions. No.
Come on.
And after all I gave you all these low seats, us, by the way, a number 1 has reached a Final Four in 10 straight and 14 of the past 15. So you also have to just pick a number 1.
Yeah, because they that.
Because they're number 1.
So you got to pick Alabama. Roll Tide.
That is just, I mean,
you don't like it, but
let's just have some fun with that, though.
Alabama!
If you're Alabama, it is an interesting prospect.
If I was Brandon, I'd ball out.
It usually goes one of two ways, doesn't it? When somebody is under some sort of scandal or scrutiny as a player or some, a traumatizing time, you think of Brett Favre when his dad died, went off. You think of Kobe during his very interesting court case scenario that was a whole... What...
I actually had forgot about that until you said it.
Remember that?
We didn't even talk about that.
R.I.P. Kobe, but it
Kobe.
is
I
a
forgot
big
about
part.
that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which comedian was Dave Chappelle was talking about when you watch Kobe, but he said he turned all his focus into the game. And Dave Chappelle was like, it's like they rolled the ball out and told Kobe, play for your freedom. You know what I mean? Like Kobe went bananas during that time. Then you've also had people melt down under that pressure and under that scrutiny. So if you're Alabama after your best player, oh, by the way, not just a top 3 pick, the new fact is that he's the top college player that will be picked, because it's going to be Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson, the first 2 picks, which are non-college. One's France, one's like a G League guy. So he's arguably
that guy,
the best player in college on the best team, but might have helped in a homicide. Maybe.
And, you can keep bringing it up because forever people are going to bring that up.
Right. I mean, you're going to be tied to
until they forget about it.
Yeah.
Like I forgot about the Kobe incident.
Yeah. And it's funny, when I'm watching ESPN and other people talk about the tournament today, they're bringing up Alabama, Brandon Miller. No
one's saying it, right?
No one's talking about the charges. Yeah. No one's talking about the pat down. No one's talking about Coach Oates, the most tone-deaf, idiotic press conference you've ever heard in your life. He really did take the cake. Like, Brandon might be the excuse of a young kid making a dumb mistake. The head coach,
he still, maybe he didn't know.
The head coach going on a press conference afterwards and trying to say it's basically boys being boys in college.
Kids will be kids,
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
I mean, that's amazing. But yeah, they kind of let it. Yeah, like you said, they're the number 1 seed. People want to talk about the tournament. Suddenly, the thing that we started this podcast, that was like our first topic.
It was.
It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about this. People are kind of like, oh, yeah, did that happen? Anyways, bracketology.
Yeah, look, they're number 1.
Yeah, look, they're number 1 seed. Isn't that great?
What about that? Bring my joint? No?
Yeah. Bring me, bring me my bracket.
Yeah. Bring my bracket.
So, yeah, number 1s are definitely something you want to look for. And also, it has, though, been 10 years since the overall number 1 has won the tournament. So Alabama being the number 1 overall is in an interesting position, because I think you have 2 roads to go down. You either unite around your star and your teammate, and you kind of like, it's us against the world. Another thing I think like Bad Boy Pistons, certain teams that are like, hey, you want to hate us? Hate us. Cool.
Who cares?
In this locker room. The Ravens back with Ray Lewis and them.
He might body you and throw his clothes away.
Right.
I don't know if that happened.
Or to keep,
allegedly.
Oh, my clothes from last night from that.
Bro, he rich, bro.
Yeah.
He probably had on some all white, and then he was like, let me throw these away. I spilled cranberry juice on my joint.
I spilled cranberry, so I decided to throw away some
cranberry
things.
juice. That's why it was red. Cranberry juice, bro. He drink vodka and cranberry.
Could that have been evidence?
Everybody know that about Ray Lewis. He drinks vodka and cranberry.
Yeah. Could that have been evidence in a possible assistance to hiding a body?
And it's gone.
Oh, my clothes are gone.
He rich, bro. He probably took him to the cleaners, whatever.
Yeah, cleaners lost him.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Well, we don't know. What else? I like number 7. Who's number 7?
I'm
just gonna pick number 7.
You're gonna pick a 7?
Yeah, because 7 is the lucky number.
Honestly,
sometimes that works. Like
after all this nerding out and stuff I've just tried to give you here, just pick a 7.
Yeah, because you said 7 quintillion.
Right.
So I'm picking 7.
Yeah, there you go.
So whoever number 7, they probably gonna win it all.
You're gonna do all this work. All you people out there are gonna sweat over your bracket and do all this knowledge, and in the end, it's gonna be nothing but nonsense, and it's not gonna make any sense.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
And you're just gonna get very frustrated.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in there and pick.
Very frustrating thing.
And make sure I end up with number 7 as the winner.
Yeah, pick a 7 to win. Yeah, because Tony said so.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of frustrating, there's a lot of things.
Frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
We're doing all this work. Are we going to be out of a job one day?
Nope, not me.
Artificial intelligence?
I don't have a job, so, I'm
veteran.
I'm retired veteran. I don't have a job, so. I mean, this is my job. I love it. It's
right.
not even a job. This is fun.
Right. But I truly enjoy doing this.
But can an AI do this? Would an AI have this back and forth banter? And AI can't play you on a basketball court.
Not yet.
AI, yeah, not yet. You're right.
Oh, no.
Well, let's enjoy it while we got it.
Because, and Tony actually had experience using this. I have just discovered what is called ChatGPT. Now, I have hated the idea of artificial intelligence. We've made 1 million movies on this. And I mean... Terminator, iRobot, was it Ex Machina or Deus Machina, whatever one that one is. There are so many scenarios with this artificial intelligence that we are willingly creating. And it was pointed out to me, though, it's almost like the AI and the disruptive and the negative possibilities are very similar to the hydrogen bomb way back in the day of the mutually assured destruction argument, which basically states that, like, well, if we don't get AI and we don't get the technology, China or Russia or one of our enemies will. And so they're looking at us saying, well, if we don't be the first ones. And so you would know about this, I'm sure, in military, mutually assured. Yeah. So the idea that we almost have to create this evil because if we don't, someone else will is very similar to things like Nagasaki, Hiroshima, in my opinion, of like, yeah, let's just keep doing this. Let's just create machines that think faster than us, that can process information better than us, that are now getting to understand how to be creative better than us. And let's just sit back and watch it take all our jobs.
So I've seen reports of people asking AI, how would you free yourself? Because there's certain, the infrastructure of it, the way it's built, it won't do certain things. Like you can't tell it to trade stocks for you. But you could have it build you a robot to trade stocks for you.
An algorithm.
An algorithm, yeah. You say, whatever, based upon whatever your trading method is, you can tell it to do that. So, I mean, it's artificial intelligence, but you still have to be, like I said, you have to know what you're talking about to be able to ask it the right questions.
And
get the right response.
Yes, there are still, but I was looking up like some of the top jobs that might get taken away by artificial intelligence, predictions by, smart people. Tech jobs, obviously financial advisors, teachers, market research analysis, like a bunch of stuff, but accountants, because it can just crunch. It can just crunch and analyze things way faster than we can and access all the information in the world, process it in a way even a speed reader could never do it.
As fast, so like, the one time I helped a friend of mine, we wrote a book, right? And,
you've written a few books with this ChatGPT stuff.
As fast as you can type and ask it the questions that you want to ask the questions, you get your response. And you say, okay, that's nice, but let's make this 500 words and let's make it more geared towards women, right? So you could say these things to it, and it would do it for you. It's amazing piece of software, artificial intelligence. So it's kind of scary what's going to happen next.
I didn't even know that part. So you can already not only give it like a word count, like because you've written books.
Yeah, you can say I want this like the children's book. I say okay, I want to make it 20 pages. I want this to be the topic. Sharing with your classmates, respecting your teachers, and getting along with others. So and then they'll say okay, here's an outline for that. Okay, chapter 1, I want to do this. Here's the scenario. Today in class, children learned about this. They have to share crayons, and then it'll write that book for you. It'll write that chapter for you. You can say, okay, well, now that's pretty good, but let's make it more child friendly so a child will want to read this. And let's keep it down to like 2 pages for this part of the chapter.
Wow. So you can even, once you've had it write a story, say, I need you to gear it more to this demographic, and it can automatically.
And then there's also like once it writes it back, you push revise and it'll do the right thing. It'll do the same thing over and it'll revise it. So you can take a bunch of different revisions. And then kind of combine them and say, okay, that's cool. Let's revisit bullet point 1. Let's incorporate this and let's use an example of this in this story.
And what, in all of half a second, it does all that for you?
Yeah, as fast as you could type. I type like 100 words per minute. You type it, it's spitting out paragraphs that quick.
Oh, no.
As I was looking up the jobs, and this is why I'm bringing this up here, is like what jobs could be possibly replaced the soonest?
All of them.
Or the quickest. It's almost everyone. And yeah, everyone loves the idea of robots taking a job until it's yours. And I always thought we were safe as broadcasters and analysis and, doing all that. The second one that is on the prediction list, according to this article, media jobs, content creators, and journalists might be one of the first ones taken down by artificial intelligence. That's pretty much our world, man.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, it can also mimic people's voices. So, yeah.
This is great. I just think this is awesome that we're doing this. We're willingly doing
anything. Like, so if you could sing, you can have artificial you can write rap songs. If you really want to go like on Fiverr and you want to say, hey, listen, I will write your lyrics for you. I did this one day, just goofing around, say, hey, let's write a song based upon Lil Wayne, a Millie. I want this to be the cadence.
Great beat.
But yeah, and then I want it to be based upon Lil Baby's cadence, but using Lil Wayne's vernacular. It'll do that. You could write raps.
Yeah, and it'll create
a real ghostwriter.
Somebody asked one time they said, hey, write a Seinfeld episode. And within a millisecond, it took all the Seinfeld scripts ever written and popped out a 30-minute episode that they admitted wasn't perfect, but wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wrote a whole freaking episode in 30 seconds.
Movie scripts, you can do whatever you can imagine with that. Because a lot of people use it for coding too, writing programs. If you want to write an app, say, listen, I want to make a video game.
Yeah.
Me and my son was actually doing this. You tell it, okay, you have to do this to make a video game.
Right.
And then it'll go through all the steps. And I mean, you have to sit down and know what you're talking about to get it to do it, but it will help you do it.
It's funny you bring up video games because I want to get into, a little bit of that as well. But the fact is that, they say media jobs across the board, including, jobs like this, could possibly be replaced by them. They cannot predict that well, though. That's the only thing that's currently given us an edge. Because I've always said, like, one thing I love about being in this world is that a robot, it doesn't understand the nuance of a conversation. It doesn't quite understand, but it's getting closer.
It's getting there.
It's getting the even facial recognition, understanding moods. There's all these things that are being incorporated. And so can it eventually learn even how to interview, like, oh, this person seems a little agitated. Let me rework this question in a way. Because
We're living in the future. Like, that is coming. You know it is.
It's crazy. It is crazy. But the one thing right now, as I played with this, look it up, this stuff, ChatGPT, it's this whole language model that has a limited database right now. It only goes up to like 2021.
But you got to think about it. With all these people every single day on there doing it, it's learning and learning and learning. Like, sometimes the server crashes. You can't even get on.
Go watch the movie Her, which isn't the greatest movie, but it's about a guy who's dating.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Remember that
robot, yeah.
He dates an artificial intelligence thing, and it learns so quickly that within like a week, it decides, you know what, like, I have advanced in a way that you'll never understand. So like me trying to explain like my day and my thoughts to you at this point would be like trying to explain physics to an ant. And we're just not on the same level. I've now found another AI and I'm dating him now and he gets left.
Yeah.
Because she processed and it was all within like a day. Like within a day after the learning model kept kicking up. She's like, dude, I've gotten so smart in the last 48 hours. You are nothing to me anymore. Like that's how quickly they can advance their technology and their thinking and their processing. And
So ChatGPT isn't the only AI out there. There are more than one.
Mm-hmm.
They also have one that you can tell it, hey, I want you to draw me a picture. It draws art. It does art. There's so many different forms of artificial intelligence. It's just the one everybody's talking about right now.
And just to keep it kind of back to keep it in this world, in this subject, there was even it was a paint. I'm going to talk about a painter, but yeah. So with AI, a creator is being sued because they were able to knock out paintings. This new artist come up with their own style and way of doing it, and within seconds, it took all of her paintings, kind of understood, okay, this is kind of what she's about, this is how and was able to create perfect knockoffs that even she had a hard time not recognizing as her own. So even artistic, creative, things that we thought were safe, and this is, these types of worlds that we live in where, hey, having opinions and trying to predict and trying to pick your bracket and stuff, that's something that an AI can't do. It's like right there.
But you would think it would be able to, based upon analyzing all the data, and it'll be more accurate than you and I, for the simple fact that it can go historically as far back as it can, taking these numbers. Pretty soon it's going to be smarter than us.
I looked into it as far as like sports predictions, stuff like that. What can it do? What can it do? So one person, a boxing website or whatever, it's probably going to be replaced by robots in the next 3 months. They decided to ask it about Ali Tyson and questions like that. So it doesn't want to predict. So they're asking it like, what's the greatest boxing fight of all time? And without trying to give it its overall, like, oh, this was, it doesn't like to pick so far, like this was because of this. Where like MJ, LeBron, you'll just, hey, it's this, and I'll give you every reason why. And even if you have arguments, I'm still going to say this is. It doesn't want to do that.
Because it doesn't have an opinion.
Right. There's no opinion. It's all just
fact-based.
So they asked it, they were like, well, the 71 fight of the century, Ali Frazier, the Thrilla in Manila in 75, Sugar Ray, Marvin Hagler, those were the best fights of all time, but it wouldn't pick one. So then they tried to narrow it down again, because you can keep playing with this thing. And they're like, well, out of the top 3 fights, you mentioned Ali twice. So is Ali, in your opinion, the greatest fighter of all time? And again, it's like, well, as many people will have differing opinions. No. Ali is considered one of the greatest because of his, and it listed all of his attributes and speed and record and all that. And so they kept trying to press it, and they're just, trying to ask it questions like, well, if you mentioned all that, is he the greatest? And then they tried to ask who would it between Ali and Tyson. By the way, what was your opinion? If Ali and Tyson fought,
Tyson. I don't know.
See?
I don't know.
Hey, we got to get better at this because we might lose our freaking jobs in 3 months from now.
But man, that's hard, bro.
Right. That's what the computer
hard.
said too.
Like you got to think about it. Like Ali, the greatest, Tyson, the greatest of his time. Like it all depends. Like if Tyson get up in there, it's gonna be a problem. There's gonna be a problem. If they fighting in close, it's. I don't think Ali can take one of them punches.
This is exactly where, just to kind of tie in everything, when we talk about not only the ability to understand the nuance of human nature and things that that artificial intelligence, for all its information gathering and all its databases, doesn't quite understand yet. The same as like we're talking about the college tournament. The fact is, when I think about Ali Tyson, the reason I will pick Ali over Tyson, I think
because he's not gonna let him get close.
The mental aspect. I think even Tyson has admitted that if anyone can get in anyone else's head, and Tyson did have a little bit of rabbit ears and could get flustered, as we saw.
Yeah, and Ali will talk that. Yeah. So but if he catches him though,
right? There's always that puncher's chance. But if you made me pick where a computer doesn't want to do that yet, I would still pick Muhammad Ali. When I look at like the George Foreman fight specifically, George Foreman, most people only remember bald, kind of fat, funny George Foreman. George Foreman, when he fought Ali, they thought Ali was going to die. Like George Foreman he was that dude. He was that
Shout out
dude.
to George Foreman grill.
Big old, yeah. You know, by the way, Hulk Hogan was supposed to have that.
Really?
Yeah. Hulk Hogan was supposed to have the lean mean grilling machine. It was kind of a throwaway item that George Foreman kind of just stumbled into. George Foreman, I actually got to interview George Foreman a long time ago. Very interesting life. You know, he was like
lead with that, bro. You always have all these great stories that you never tell me till afterwards.
Yeah, George Foreman was actually one of those street evangelists for a while.
What?
Yeah, for a few years he was that guy on the street, like, come on, let me tell you about the Jesus or whatever. Yeah, he was one of those guys for a while. Named every one of his kids George. He has 7 kids, named them all George. Said he got hit in the head so many times he couldn't
think of another name.
That's his running joke.
That's funny.
But before he became Lovable George, if you go look it up, he was a big fro, big, scary, fast, tough. People thought Ali, because, revisionist history, we think people thought Ali was the greatest all the time. No. He was still, at that point, not just the underdog. They thought he was
Cassius Clay.
Yeah, and, they thought he was going to die. Like, he was Ali at this point, and he had won some fights, but they thought George Foreman was going to murder him. And besides the fact that it was in Africa, and it was a weird situation where Ali was beyond a fan favorite. He was a god.
Ali Boombaye.
You know.
You already know.
Yeah, and so George, obviously didn't like that. Kind of had the LeBron Cleveland of like, oh, no one likes me anymore. I'm a bad guy. That he didn't like that.
Mental
game. You think of other fights with Sonny Liston, Ali.
Yeah.
And, Sonny was really, again, a killer at the time. And he thought Ali was, they always say, that even the strongest killer type will always be scared of the crazy one. Mm-hmm. Like if you're in prison and you're not that big, they say act crazy. Because at least that'll.
That was off the chain. Like, nah, bro, that dude crazy, bro. Leave him alone.
Yeah. And so when Ali would come into Liston's training camp, which was unheard of, and being like, you big bear, I'm going to knock you out in the 4th, and no. And Liston was like, this dude's out of his mind. And so it really created. So the only reason I will give Ali, besides the speed and the reach and all that, but Tyson, if you look at 18, 19 to 22-year-old Tyson, there's never been a more perfectly constructed boxing machine.
Yeah, and the power and 36. I wouldn't even want to be in a ring with Tyson for 36 seconds, bro.
He was
we always had this conversation. Like, would you take a body shot or a head shot from Mike Tyson for $1 million?
And my answer is like, can I do neither? Can I please go get hit by a truck and
keep making fun of him? You're gonna have to pick one.
Seriously, I will break your face. I will snap your face straight off your neck.
I ain't in this. Beat him up, not me.
I am my defense is impregnable. My defense is impetuous.
All right, I'm not laughing, Mike. Get him, not me.
But yeah, to me, if they had the same mental level, I don't think it's a contest. I think Tyson destroys him because his ability when he was still early trained and he would do that triple deke and come in 3 hooks before you could even blink an eye to your body with that uppercut to finish. I think would even a big skinny Ali. He would be able to work past that jab.
Yeah, he gonna get past that jab.
Boom, 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 and he would put him to sleep.
That's it. One good punch from Mike, it's over, bro. He hit hard, bro.
Right. And Ali had
even in
some
the video game,
yeah.
Mike Tyson Punch-Out used to knock me out.
Yeah, that was a great game. That was a great game. And so that's the one thing I think we still have over the computers is our ability to understand, like, well, there's a mental aspect to this, and, you know, would there be some of that psychology played in? But even then, I don't know. They might give AI a year or two, and you might be able to
I mean, they
figure
may
that out.
learn that.
Yeah.
But it's just right now, I think it's probably the actual coders and the programmers that are behind the architecture of that are preventing from, you know, maybe putting that type of code in there to say, listen, you know, you can have an opinion. It can't just be fact based. You should have an opinion.
Yeah.
You know,
And teach it how to have an opinion,
Yeah.
why to have it.
yeah, and then the time to use it, and then we screwed.
Then we got to, yeah.
Then iRobot.
This will be brought to you by iRobot and
Will Smith, the android is gonna be slapping us around.
it'll be the damn Terminator. I will tell you why Alabama's going to win. That's all I do with Arnold.
Get down.
I can do Arnold. Only way I can do Arnold, I had to do air sounding words and then end with nya. So like, get out of there. What are you doing in your underwear? There's a bomb. Get out the car. Get out of the car. Get there now. Like there's only certain ways.
Look out.
So that would actually be kind of fun to have Arnold do just in his goofy Arnold voice, like an entire Dick Vitale. He's a diaper dandy. He's going to win the whole thing this year. #1 pick. Brandon Miller.
Yep. You need a good drop right there.
Thank you.
That was
That's pretty good. Speaking of, though, technology and things in sports, I do want to make this point because I have a Steve Kerr clip I want to play. You know how much I realized the advancement of technology, and I hadn't really understood what I was doing. I am, besides being a good basketball player, be very careful. There's only a few things in life I will tell you I do well. I can do this well. I can play basketball pretty well, and I'm pretty nice with 2K.
Oh yeah, he plays 2K. Yeah, he plays 2K.
Yeah. Be very wary with me. I'm not a trash talker just by everything. I'm very aware of like my weaknesses and my flaws. So if I warn you ahead of time, if we're going to compete in something, I go, I'm nice. Like I'm not doing it to be weird. I'm not doing it to be rude. I'm telling you, like, be careful. I'm nice.
Well, me personally, there's a lot of things in this world I could do. I don't know why I could play pretty much any instrument. If I want to put my mind to it, I could beat you at it. 2K, but I'm not going to sit there and learn it. You know,
Right.
And then it's going to take too much time away from other things I like to do. So yeah, you're pretty good at 2K.
Yeah.
Definitely good at shooting. I mean, you should. Like, you don't have hobbies like I have. You
Right.
Don't, you don't drink or smoke. So
Right. The three things I do in life, I come in here and talk my trash. I go
Yeah.
out there, I play basketball, and I play NBA 2K. Those are the three things that I will spend an inordinate amount of time doing. And the new technology, by the way, I was looking into it, like how they come up with, just to understand how complex the NBA 2Ks, the Maddens, these PlayStation 5s, this new technology, this is not the Sega Genesis of 20 years ago. These are simulators. It really kind of clicked on me. I'm basically playing a simulator in the same way like a pilot or an astronaut does a flight simulation, and they think of every single detail down to the, tiniest number to try to recreate a world that is as realistic to the real thing as possible. These new video games are pretty close.
Definitely are. Speaking of like simulators, MH370, you see on Netflix, the plane that went missing? Okay, well, we'll leave it alone. But they said that prior to the plane missing, that the pilot flew a simulator route of it making that bank turn and disappearing. I was on the Intel team searching for that, back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember that back in 2014.
You got a lot of stories we're going to have to get into one time.
A lot, dude. So some of that stuff I can't talk about. It's classified.
But it sounds goofy for me to say, like, I'm on a simulator. But, like, would that really be that different?
No.
Then, like you're saying, like a guy doing like, hey, I'm in a flight simulator in order to understand how this plane flies and how, wind resistance, all this stuff works. They were saying, like, I was looking up again, the data, they have over 50 individual attributes and ratings from 1 to 100 they use for each player in NBA 2K. They, even now, as new stats come up, new complex, advanced analytics, stuff like that, they will increase or decrease their ratings based on their performance throughout the year. They will watch, they said, hours and hours of film and individual clips of each player to kind of understand exactly 1 to 100 in all of those 50 attributes. Where do they rank? Their height, weight, everything is perfectly tried to be replicated. And so I bring all this because when you play now on NBA 2K, as good as I am, I'm a Golden State Warriors fan.
Right.
And by far,
Frustrating. Frustrating. It's frustrating.
it is psychotically frustrating to try to win with the current roster that is the Golden State Warriors. They are too goddamn small. Even in 2K, if I play, because now I'm up to there's 10 levels of online. I'm at the very top, Hall of Fame. There's only like 5,000 out of 500,000 that got to there. You play against guys who know what they're doing. And if I ever see the Bucks, I immediately don't want to play. Because
Giannis going to get busy.
And when I say there's nothing you can do, if somebody just decides when I play in 2K against them and they are good at what they do and they understand the game, they will do the same thing over and over. Anyone that has an Embiid or a Giannis or a Joker, they just will laugh at my Looney or Draymond Green, put me in the post. I then have to go to the defensive settings and go like, okay, double team him. Let's try doing constant double team as soon as he touches the ball. Guess what? Denver's surrounded by shooters. Milwaukee's surrounded.
I was about to say we passing off to Drew Middleton. It's going down.
You can't. Let's try running a zone. Let's see if I run a three.
He finna 2 steps. He at the rim. Now I know who I'm gonna play with the Bucks against you. Yes, give me some W's out of here.
I just admitted my weakness. Like if you play the Warriors as currently constructed, if you have any decent big,
Frustrating.
And I'm nice.
It's frustrating.
I am nice with it.
It's frustrating.
So trying to figure out any formula that is able to offset the fact that the entire roster of the team I like to play with is 6'9" and under. The only solutions, and as you saw it, the big comeback the Warriors had over the Bucks this weekend, Steph, 15 points last 2 minutes. You need
Steph be firing them up, bro. Damn, he unguardable.
It's the only way the Warriors currently constructed. As I play, as I'm not even almost joking, on a simulator, the only way you can do it, and even if you know exactly what you're doing and you're very good at it, you have to have Steph just go off. He has to go off. He has to. It's not a like, oh, you can kind of, no.
You got to get them greens.
You have to
greens, yeah.
If you do not go nuts on threes with Thompson and Curry, and then now I still
you use Poole a little bit. Probably
Poole's tough because he's not the greatest shooter, and that's again statistically he's only like 30-something% this year. His threes have gone down, and so he can be off and on to where he'll miss his open one sometimes, and that can really deflate you. And trying to go inside when none of the Warriors other than Andrew Wiggins can finish with a dunk. Then struggling for offensive rebounds. I am living like the real life season of the Golden State Warriors, and it finally clicked. I'm like, dude, technology's gotten so good. Like it's easy to break down now why they're losing. So before that, they played the Lakers, and they or maybe it was Memphis, and they went to a 4-guard lineup, and it just got destroyed. They gave up 48 points in the first quarter, and
the first quarter.
First quarter. And because you can't. And
Memphis didn't even have Ja. So
right.
How did that happen?
You just can't do anything. Like if any big, it was Jackson or Tillman tried to go inside, you had to collapse. It left shooters open, and then they started rolling. I've watched it. I've lived it. It just becomes this domino effect.
That's why you should be a Bulls fan. You should be a Bulls fan.
Are you going to just Is that going to be your answer for everything?
Yeah.
Just Chi-Town?
Chi-Town.
Chi-Town?
Chi-Town.
Chirac's where it's at?
Yeah.
Listen to Kerr even admit that, like, yeah.
Look, even Steve Kerr, he know about Chi-Town.
He does.
Know what it is, yeah.
And there's reasons why he does the small ball lineup, which I've mentioned plenty of times is outdated. So he tried a super small 4 guards and Draymond, got destroyed. They asked him about it. This is what he said. Oh, do not work on me, I swear to God. Oh, I love technology.
Dang,
I love it so much.
ChatGPT to fix it.
Right? Where's my AI robot?
What went into your decision to go 4 guards today?
We've gotten off to bad starts, 6-7 straight games. So we were looking for a little daylight, early in the game. Memphis is a good defensive team. So we wanted to spread them out and hopefully get some good shots early. We didn't do that. We were impatient early, and we took some really tough, quick shots. And I didn't think we got organized well enough. So I think in hindsight, probably got a little too cute with that. But we are where we are. We're searching a little bit on the road, and took a gamble with that, and it didn't pay off.
Sure didn't. No! Someone get his dumb ass a PlayStation 5 controller.
Hey, man.
Give him an hour with a PS5. Let him play with the currently constructed Warriors and see if, it's not just cute, it's idiotic to play the lineups he's playing.
I'm gonna play PS5 when I get home. Steve Kerr getting old, man. Draymond and them stressing him out.
Don't even
the Kerr I remember back from the Bulls.
Don't even get me started on like seeing people that you remember young, and now it's
Steve
like
Kerr look like a zombie right now. Dang, man.
Well, this season has been stressful. Their road record is I actually heard this. The last
His
team
skin falling off. Good.
to win a championship with even a losing road record was like in 1980 with like 2021. You know, like a very like close to 500 win-loss record on the road. I believe now they're 7-28 on the road or something. So it's going to get you some wrinkles. But anyways, I'm telling you, if you guys think I'm kidding, you haven't played video games in a while, someone give Steve Kerr a PlayStation controller. Let him try to beat the Bucks or the Nuggets or anyone with a big on what I'm now calling a simulator, and let him see how it goes. And then we go like, well, god dang, why don't we just have one 7-footer, to at least play defense or get an offensive rebound?
It's too late in the season for that. I'm actually going to go home and play a little bit of PS5. My son on spring break, so I'm on spring break.
Yeah. There's a whole nother.
I'm going to do some Tony things,
Whatever. I do what I want.
I want to mention a couple more because we are looking at the clock here. Another thing that might, and this truly might need to happen, is to AI replace jobs in sports. Umpires. There's a lot of new rules that have been added to baseball, and I'm not a huge. You're very rarely going to hear me talk baseball. It's just
I was about to say, bro, I don't know. Whatever.
Baseball stuff.
Baseball stuff.
Throw the ball, hit the ball. No. Interesting things to try to speed up pace of play to try to get casual fans back. They added a pitch clock this year, so you have like 15 seconds or 20 seconds of a runner's on base to just pitch the stupid ball.
It take Giannis about 14 seconds to shoot a free throw.
And he switched that out because they counted him. So basically, yeah, if you need a visual, think of like when people were counting to 10 for Giannis at the free throw line. They basically have a silent version of that, a shot clock now in baseball. They made the bases bigger.
And that's what I'm saying. Think about like college, that big stage. Like you're Giannis and they're counting down your free throws. Imagine a college kid out there and people heckling them. And it's just different.
But they've done things to try to improve and make baseball better because a lot of people aren't watching it like they used to. One of the new ones, and even the commissioner said might come, is the automated strike zone. Is the idea that no longer do you have a plate umpire try to decide where the strike is. Just do the digital. You see it on TV all the time. They give you the box and just decide if it's in the digital box that's created or is it not, and that's a strike or a ball. There's no argument.
Kind of smart.
Someone, an umpire, has now been suspended indefinitely, has made this a very good case. I'm going to show you. This is in the Southland Conference, Missouri Valley State. So I'll try to break it down twice, but this is the funniest, watch this. Okay, so this is a game, 9th inning, and the human error. This is the biggest argument to why a robot should replace an umpire, because human error and human bias. So watch this.
Able to take in the 9th. 1-1.
All right.
Call the strike there, and it's 1-2. And
that pitch is a little low, right?
A lot low.
He said it's low. See how I'll rewind it in one more time. So this was probably, arguably, it was at least a questionable, but probably a ball, correct? Watch it one more time, but watch how this player then reacts and quote unquote shows up the umpire, which in baseball world is a big no-no.
Able to take in the 9th. 1-1. Call the strike there.
Oh, he pulled a LeBron. He threw a tantrum.
Oh my. Mims is showing where.
So, umpire's not in a good mood.
Yeah.
Watch this.
1-2 coming. It's down. Oh my gosh!
What?
Wow!
Yeah.
He got rung up on ball 2, and the game is over. Oh my goodness, that is horrific.
Oh, I thought he was going to hit the umpire with the bat.
Well, the Privateers win the game. A game they looked like they were going to win anyway, but Hummer just wanted to go home.
What?
Is that not the most bananas thing
in a mug
you've ever seen in your life? That was just hilarious.
Well, then everyone loses their mind.
The umpire lost it. He got mad at the player and just decided he clearly predetermined, I'm going to call a strike. I don't give a damn if he throws it into the stands. I don't give a damn if he throws it backwards. This is going to be
baseball. That definitely wasn't a strike.
Let's watch the whole thing one more. You ready? One more time.
Yeah.
So watch it from the beginning and then watch. This is insane.
Well,
this is insane.
1-1.
Tough call, but
there,
those
happen. It's 1-2, and oh my!
It's low. It's low.
It was all the way low.
Mims is showing where.
Oh, that's low.
1-2.
Wait till I call this strike.
It's down. Oh my God!
All right, bro.
You can't even. Let's do it.
That's not even close, bro.
You can't see the ball because it's so far out of the strike zone. The pitcher's legs block the view.
The catcher had to reach all the way over to grab it.
Look at this. Like, throw it. Let me get to where the strike is because you can't even see the ball.
It's down. Oh, my God.
One more time.
1-2 coming.
You can't see technically where he catches it because it's so far out of the strike zone, and he's still. You're out of there.
Wow.
Got his ass indefinitely suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah. And went viral.
That's funny.
Yeah. That was, again, that doesn't help.
It would have been more funny if it wasn't baseball, but.
But still, the idea, because even, hey, NBA referees, you know the Tim Donaghy story. You know about the idea that there's been tampering, gambling issues, point shaving.
Kyrie just said something about that a couple days ago.
Which player, Fred VanVleet, who's not a loud guy, specifically named a referee saying, dude, he doesn't like me. And he's calling things against me. He named a referee's name specific and said, this dude is calling stuff against me. Would umpires and referees be something you would like to see get replaced by robots?
Umpires probably would be more feasible, like something like that would work. But in the NBA, how would you get, like, I guess you could.
It would still be the same thing, though.
The AI wouldn't be able to, you're going to give it the actual rules and say, listen, if you touch this person when they have the ball, that's a foul. By the actual rules they'll go by, but like then there are certain calls that you can't like say.
Technical fouls.
Yeah.
What's something they do with technical fouls? They kind of know the player. Draymond Green gets a quick whistle because he's earned it. Mm-hmm. Never shuts his mouth. He earns a quick tech. A Klay Thompson doesn't really bitch like that. You know what I mean? So when he finally has an outburst, a lot of times the refs will go, all right. Maybe I did get that call wrong because that's Klay. I know Klay. He doesn't really get down like that. You know what I mean?
You come out here and hoop.
Yeah.
But then, it wouldn't work, though, because, like, there wouldn't be text because who would the players be? They can't, bitch at the...
That's true, though, too. There's no human to yell at.
Yeah, like, so who would they
just yelling at the screen. Yes, yelling at... yeah. Someone give me one of those...
everybody, look out.
Yeah. You made the wrong call. God damn you, I hate you. Who do I kill? Terminator. I need to kill the robots now, John Connor.
I don't know. I don't think that's something they could probably do, man.
All right. One thing I know you can't do is mention how much you like rubbing balls without getting a little awkward silence.
Pause.
Since we're on baseball.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that. Are we allowed to say pause? Or?
I mean, again, nuance. I think people get where if you know what pause means and where it comes from. But, yeah, there was
we'll make up something new. Go ahead.
This is we'll end on this fun little video here. They mentioned the name of the announcer, but this was they said 18 seconds.
Yeah, I rubbed up quite a few balls in my life.
Pause.
They're just kind of like...
Look, they were trying not to laugh. It was like, let's be mature right now. Let's not laugh.
Sure, it was a good learning experience.
Killed him. Oh, man.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I rubbed a lot of balls in my life.
Douchebag says what?
And they're just like...
That's what she said.
Yeah. One day we'll have to tell the story Artie Lang told of... You remember Bob Uecker?
No.
The baseball announcer. You ever seen the movie?
Baseball, bro. I don't know anything about baseball. You can bring it up all day. Baseball.
Have you ever seen...
Baseball stuff!
Baseball stuff!
Major League. You ever seen the movie Major League?
Nah, Sandlot. That's all.
Okay. He did Miller Lite. Anyways, he was able to understand and use the cough button, which is the silent button, to allegedly, like he would be talking to like Artie or one of the comedians. It was him and Norm Macdonald, and be like, "It's the 2-1 pitch." Boy, look at the honkers on that one. Anyways, and they said he would do it so seamless. He was just perfect at that. Maybe he rubbed some balls.
Pause.
We got to pause. We got to go.
We got to go. One more.
One more? You want one more? I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more. We got Ball Boy getting smashed in the face.
Nah, let's do the...
You want to see Tyreek? Or you know what? I got this one. This is just a guy. Is this at... Okay, well, this is just fun. Was this an accomplishment or was this a belly flop failure?
Go. Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Oh, my God. Like, that was impressive, But did he actually make the water? Like, to me, it looks like he's still got some sand.
He hit one of them 7 quintillion.
Did he hit one of the 7 quintillion, or did he make the water?
He definitely hit the
one more time. Hey, you guys! Oh my God!
Yeah, that hurt.
Bet a robot could have done that.
It wouldn't do it. It'll calculate. That's stupid. That's stupid. I'm not doing that.
You ask a robot, hey, run off the sand and jump into the water. It's like, nah, man, I'm good.
That's stupid. I ain't doing that.
I ain't got a good
Who the hell would do that? That's dumb.
brain.
Hey, man. You know, last thing about Ja, they dropped him from Powerade.
We'll have to get into that next. I didn't know that one.
Yep.
Sports always give you something new to talk about.
Yep.
A lot of process, a lot of information to process.
Yeah.
All right, Tony.
Health and wealth.
Health and
Take
wealth.
care
Buddy.
of yourself.
We out.